Hello, everybody. This month we're talking about getting organized, and I wanted to do a little quick video to let you know how to use a document that is in your Google folder, and it's related to time management. There will be a couple other things in your folder like lists of sort of ways that you can get more organized, and there's also going to be what we call how do you spend your time, which is the document that is right here. Essentially, the first couple of years of high school is a lot about effort and putting time in. The more time you put in, typically the better results you get. So one of the things that we like to just take a snapshot of here at College Com is to think about breaking down how you're currently using your time. I think all of us, including myself, oftentimes feel like there's not enough time, I'm time constrained, I'm rushed, there's things that I want to do, but I don't have time for them. And this is one way to just start to keep track of, again, a little snapshot of what you're doing and how you're spending your time so that you can start to talk and think about how do you feel the most balanced? What's a good balance for you? What's a healthy amount of time to be doing different things in your life? And most importantly, as you look forward, where you can find more time if you need it, because you're going to need more time for tests, papers, and lots of things as you move closer to junior year. This is just a great thing to get conversation started, and I would actually recommend parents to do it too. It's actually pretty illuminating. So what you have in front of you is the basic sheet, and I wanted to be able to show all of the different parts. And then I'm just going to go in and show you how to use it. So quickly, the categories are down the left-hand side, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. Red means that it's going to sum up each category. All the way to the right is the total hours, which, to be honest, for this particular exercise, not super important. Then there's something down here at the bottom that is a checkup. So what you're going to do is take for each day, you're going to take the red categories and the school category, and you're going to tally them up, because if you are only inputting into the time tracker how you're spending 21 hours, right, then you're missing some of the hours during the day, and you want to kind of figure out how to capture that. So let's get started. So on this Google Doc, yours looks exactly like this, except it will have zeros. Actually, your school time will be filled in, and again, the summary equation is in the document already. So the big categories, school, I put in 7 hours because typically students are in school about 7 hours. If yours is different, go ahead and change that. And then the first category is homework. And you're gonna go through and you're gonna choose a Monday or a Wednesday. And then you're gonna choose a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then a Saturday and a Sunday. Typically, hopefully in the same week, to just kind of assess where you're spending your time. For the homework section, I recommend just setting a timer on your phone when you start your homework. Now, if you finish your homework while you're in class, you can put a 0, right? So here, science, finished in class, have a 0. You may also not have homework every night for every class, depending on how your block system works and things like that. So it's perfectly fine to have a 0. But essentially what this says is on this Monday in particular, I spent about an hour and a half on homework. I use 15-minute increments, and we're building on a scale that the number 1 means 1 hour, 2 means 2 hours. And so 0.25 is 15 minutes, and 0.5 is half an hour. And I think those are good increments to think about when doing this work. Then there's extracurriculars. This one's pretty easy to estimate, because you can basically say I spend X amount of time at practice, right? And regular practice time is pretty easy to put in there. You know, if you had potentially a day where, you know, you had a game, then maybe it would take a little bit more time. And you might have a day where you spend a lot more time on your extracurriculars. You know, if you're practicing the piano, or if you spend some time doing, you know, arts and crafts, or if you're volunteering somewhere, you would just fill that information in here. Then there's the life section. Life includes sleep. So you want to be keeping track, at least for the 4 days that you're doing this, how much sleep you're getting. I put here, recommendation for your age is to get 9 hours or more of sleep. And this is one that can be very illuminating in terms of being ready and charged and, you know, able to take on the day. You want to check and see how much sleep you're getting. Then I sort of threw together all the stuff you do at home, eating, showering, chores, those types of things. Then time you spend with your family. There might be some overlap, like you might eat with your family, and you can decide if you want to put that in family time or eating. Just don't double count it. And then hanging out with friends, and this is in person, right? This is different than what will come below, which is media use. So most kids have an Android or an iPhone, and on your phone you can actually go to screen time and see how much time you're spending on different things. So what you can do is go in there and look on any given day how much time you've spent using social media, and it'll actually break it down by the particular app. But in general, looking to sort of aggregate how much time on social media. And then I separated out sort of TV, Netflix, video games as a different type of media, but you want to go ahead and put those in there. There's also others. You also have the capacity to add another column. If there's something that's missing, you can actually change the colors, do what you want. This is your document. So if you prefer to be looking at purple, go for it. Not a problem. So what happens is the amount of time spent is getting tallied in terms of how much is spent in each category, which is interesting. I think looking at each category will kind of help you kind of see, okay, how much am I spending on homework versus extracurriculars versus sleeping and things like that. What I've put down at the bottom is simply a checkup. So each of those categories, you're just gonna put the total that you have in the red boxes. Because you just want to see, like when I filled this out initially and I did it, I only got to 21.8 hours. So I didn't actually account for 24 hours in the day. There's some things that were missing. This box right here is not attached to this box. So you actually have to type in these totals. And so, you know, on any given day, I was starting to fill in Tuesday and Thursday. I spent, you know, I did all my math in class. I had a little bit of English, and then, you know, foreign language, I had to do some practice. And so I put in, you know, another 0.5, and elective, like maybe it's, I needed to prepare for a dance class, or I had to do something for an art class outside. So you can always add in time that you spend there. Then, like I said, add a little bit more time to sports because there was a game that day. You know, on this particular day, I got less sleep, but, you know, I spent, you know, about the same amount of time eating, showering, and things. Family time, you know what, it was busy because of that game, so there was nothing really that I did separate and with my family. And hanging out with friends, you know, well, outside of school, I didn't get a lot of time to do that. And so you can put in a 0 there. Social media time, you know what, I was waiting around a lot with the game that I had, so I spent a little bit more time on my phone that day. And during the week, I didn't do much in terms of Netflix or anything like that. So you go ahead and you fill them in, right? And again, you're gonna do a Monday and a Monday or a Wednesday. You don't have to do both, a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then do a Saturday and a Sunday. And the reason it's different is because students have different games, practices, and things on Saturdays and Sundays, but also students don't tend to do schoolwork on Saturdays and Sundays. Tends to be one day. So again, school will populate in the top. You're basically going on 15-minute increments. And the goal is to really start to think about how you're using your time so that you can take control over it, right? This is not something to be used. It is not to make you feel bad. It's not, you know, to make you think that you need to be doing other things. It's simply capturing a moment in time. So you're going to capture this moment in time. And see, and then have some conversations at home and tallying them up and talk about, you know, a little bit about sleep and start to think, oh, okay, well, you know what? I felt a little bit better when I had 8 hours than when I had 7.5. Or, you know, on the weekends, I tend to sleep more and I catch up and that makes me feel really energized. Or I see that my media usage goes way up on the weekends, but I'm not getting a lot of time to spend with my friends and I want to. Right? So this is about you taking control of your time. That's really what time management is. So this, along with some of the other things in your folder and some of the other videos that are in this newsletter, are there to help you get organized. Good luck.